Hey everybody, hope you're doing good. We're reading the Tafseer. It's been very educational. Okay, cool. We're on page 42, towards the bottom. And we're in Surah Al-Baqarah. And A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Because they're saying, we only want to put things right, would seem to imply that they are the only ones who are putting things right, which in turn would imply that the believers are not putting things right. That's a fair point. Allah refuted their claims by saying, indeed they are the ones who make mischief. There is no greater mischief than that of those who disbelieve in the signs of Allah, bar people from following the path of Allah, try to deceive Allah and His close friends, and take as allies those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger. Glory be to Him, and peace be upon Him. Yet still claim that they are putting things right. Can there be any mischief greater than this? But they do not know anything that will benefit them, even though the knowledge that they have is sufficient to establish proof against them. Committing sin is only regarded as mischief because it results in damage to whatever is on the face of the earth of grains, fruit, trees, and plants, as a result of the blights that befall them because of sin, and because putting things right on earth is achieved when people obey Allah and believe in Him. It is for this purpose that Allah created humanity and caused them to dwell on earth, and He bestowed provisions upon them to help them to obey and worship Him. Bestowed provisions to help foster worship. That's quite interesting. If they do the opposite of that on earth, then they are spreading corruption, which causes ruin by using what is on the earth in a way other than that which it was created. Wow. I mean, it sounds like a very environmentalist argument. 2:13. When it is said to them, believe as the people believe, they say, shall we believe as the fools believe? Indeed, it is they who are the fools, but they do not know. I like when it ends like that. But they do not know. I like it when it ends like that. That is, when it is said to the hypocrites, believe as the people believe. This refers to the companions, Radiya, Allahu Annam, may Allah be pleased with all of them, whose faith was affirmed in their hearts and on their lips. But the hypocrites said, on the basis of their false accusation, shall we believe as the fools believe? They were referring to the companions, thinking that it was their alleged foolishness that had led them to believe and to leave their homelands and oppose the disbelievers. In the hypocrites' view, wisdom dictated the opposite of that, so they described them as foolish, implying that they themselves were the people of wisdom and understanding. But Allah, glory be to Him, refuted their argument and stated that in reality, they were the fools. Because real foolishness is for a person to ignore what is in his best interests. That's a good point, right? That's like the classic example of what a fool is. And to strive for that which will harm him. Yes, when you strive for that which will harm you, it is indeed foolish, right? And this description was true in their case. On the other hand, wisdom and reason are reflected in a person's knowing what is in his best interest and striving for that which will benefit him and ward off harm from him, which was true in the case of the companions and the believers. What matters is sound proof, not mere claims and empty words. 2:14. When they meet those who believe, they say, we believe, but when they are alone with their devils, they say, we are really with you, we are only mocking. 2:15. Allah is mocking them and gives them free rein in transgression so that they wander blindly. Yeah, you don't want to be one of those hypocrites who just, flips the script anytime they get, right? This refers to them saying verbally that which was not in their hearts. Exactly, you want to be genuine. You can't just fake it, because it's pressure. When they met the believers, they would pretend that they were following their path and that they were with them. But when they were alone with their devils, that is, their leaders in evil, they said, We are really with you. We are only mocking the believers by pretending to them that we are following their path. This is how they are inwardly and outwardly, but the plotting of evil only rebounds on those who plot. The plotting of evil only rebounds on those who plot. That's interesting. Allah is mocking them and gives them free rein in transgression so that they wander blindly. So it's basically, that tells me, God's not obligated to help you, right? You don't want to help yourself. Why are you going to sit around and assume that God's going to be your nanny? This is their punishment for mocking his slaves. By way of mocking them, Allah makes attractive to them the miserable situation in which they are. Yeah, that is very interesting, right? So they mock people who are religious, and then Allah turns around and makes that person's miserable situation more appealing, and then that causes them to have more depression, more angst, and more sadness, in which they are an evil way they are following, to the point that they will think that they are with the believers, because Allah did not give the believers power over them. And he will mock them on the day of resurrection by giving them visible light along with the believers. Then when the believers begin to walk in their light, the light of the hypocrites will be extinguished, and they will be left in confusion after the light has gone. Aww. That would really suck, man. So you get all happy with the light, and then it goes away. And that's a form of mocking, because they did it to the believers in the world, and then the new dimension, they get turned that way. And that, whoa. How great will be their despair after their hopes have been raised. Yeah, that would hurt. The hypocrites will call out to the believers, "Were we not with you?" They will say, "Yes, but you gave into confusion and temptation. You kept waiting for some misfortune to befall us. You doubted." Al-Hadid 57:14. And gives them free rein. That is, he lets them get carried away. Yeah, exactly. Lets them get carried away. In transgression, that is, in their evil doing and disbelief. So that they wander blindly, that is, confused and hesitant. This is how Allah, glory be to him, mocks them. Then Allah, glory be to him, describes how they really are. 2:16. These are the ones who have traded guidance for error, but their trade brings no profit, and they are not guided. These people, namely the hypocrites who have the characteristics described here, are the ones who have traded guidance for error. That is, they prefer misguidance, like a buyer who wants a particular item, and because of his desire for it, he's willing to pay a high price. Hey, that's a good example. It's like especially with cars, right? This is one of the best likelessness that explain how they are, because it likens misguidance, which is the ultimate evil, to an item for purchase, and it likens guidance, which is the ultimate good, to the price, so they gave away guidance and had no interest in it, in return for misguidance because they wanted it. This is their trade, and what a bad deal it is. If one who trades a dinar, gold coin, for a dirham, silver coin, is a loser, then how about the one who trades a precious stone for a dirham? How about the one who trades guidance for misguidance, chooses doom over blessing, and prefers the most vile and base of things to the most sublime? His trade brings no profit, rather it incurs the greatest loss. So trading bringing an incurment, almost interest of loss. It's a very particular way to put it, right? This sort of financial exchange. Say indeed, the real losers will be the ones who lose their own souls and their families on the day of resurrection. That is indeed a manifest loss, as Zumair 39:15. And they are not guided. This confirms that they are misguided, and that they did not gain anything from guidance. These are their abhorrent characteristics. Then a likeness is given that highlights their character in a very clear manner. 2:17. Their likeness is that of a man who kindled a fire. When it illuminated all around him, Allah took away their light and left them in utter darkness, unable to see. 2:18. Deaf, dumb, and blind, they will not return to the right path. 2:19. Or another likeness is that of heavy downpour from the sky, accompanied by darkness, thunder, and lightning. They put their fingers on their ears to keep out the stunning thunderclap for fear of death. But Allah encompasses the disbelievers. Encompasses. Right? Surrounds. 220. The lightning almost snatches away their sight. Every time it flashes, they walk a few steps therein. But when the darkness overtakes them again, they will stand still, and if Allah willed, He could take away their hearing and their sight. Be scary. For Allah has power over all things. Be scary to not have hearing. It's hard when you don't have those senses. That's a terrible punishment. Accompanied by darkness. Holding still in the darkness, being afraid. Very interesting. Those lose their own souls and their families on the day of resurrection. You lose that reunification.